So a case study is the detailed investigation of a single instance, usually just one person, although it could, for example, it could be a single family or institutions or event. The data collected is detailed and in-depth and may be obtained using a variety of different techniques. For example, the participant may be interviewed, observed, given tests, or asked to fill the questionnaires. Case studies are particularly useful for looking at rare cases where a detailed description is useful, and for following developmental changes where the progress of a child or a person with a disorder can be tracked through their improvement or decline. Case studies are therefore sometimes connected to therapy, but it is important to remember that when the case study as a research method is being discussed, the therapeutic purpose is not the main primary aim.
Mm-hmm.
So evaluating the case study, most of the time the case study is qualitative data. It not necessarily require numerical data. Most of the time longitudinal, meaning that it take place over long period of time to see how behavior changes over could be months or years. In some ways, the results from case studies are highly valid as the individual is explored in great depth and within a genuine context, such as their work or family. Validity may be improved further using triangulation, where the use of different techniques should produce similar findings. For example, observations and interviews with participants and questionnaires for their family should all lead to similar conclusions. The research includes details such as their past, as well as their present situation, their social interaction, their thinking and their emotion, as well as the behaviors. Such details, however, carries risks. So one potential problem is that development of a close relationship with the researcher may take the researcher subjective in their outlook, which would reduce the validity of the study. The level of detail can also be an ethical threat, as the questions asked may intrude into the participants' private life and they may feel uncomfortable, unable to refuse to answer them as well. The detail about the individual may basically make it difficult to disguise their identity, even if they are not referred to by name, which would risk breaking the guidelines to confidentiality. Reliability is also an issue, as there is a single participant and perhaps one or only a few researchers. This and their involvement with their case means that they may find it difficult to be objective, that is to take an external unbiased view of the findings. For example, when they interpret what the participant has said, which means that the findings may be limited to only this case or to very few others. How are you coping?
I'm just writing it down. I'm writing on my own way.
How are you hanging?
Not so good.
Well, think about it when you apply your knowledge of case studies to let's say novel research situation. You should be able to recognize case studies and when it is appropriate to use one. Be able to suggest possible techniques that could be used in a case study. So when making this decision, it is important to consider the validity and reliability of the results. So one way that the validity can be improved is through using the triangulation, where different methods are used within the same case study to obtain the same information. So one, you could start out by one, observing them, and then two, interviewing, and next and interview them, and then ask their relatives as well, their family, to fill out some questionnaires. So in the same results are obtained by this, like all the methods. This suggests that the results are valid. Another consideration in planning case studies is an ethical issue. Participants should be aware of their commitment so they can give their informed consent, and particular attention should be paid to ensure that their privacy is not invaded and that confidentiality is maintained.
Okay.